This podcast is powered by As Always Entertainment. If you enjoy this content, consider becoming a patron over on patreon.com/asalways. Other than to support this show for just $1 a month or more, you get access to over 50 exclusive episodes of the Kill Connor Clubhouse podcast that release every week the Kill Connor Club podcast isn't on. You also get a week's early access to the Spoilercast show, The Cinema Room, and plenty of cool perks such as being part of polls for future videos on our channels, as well as other early access material. With that said, please enjoy the podcast.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Cinema Room podcast, the Spoilercast podcast where we talk about movies, TV show seasons and video games and do full spoilers and go in depth on it. I am one of your hosts, Tyler, joined as always by James.
As always, how's it going?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Feel well rested. Today we're talking about the Avengers. We're continuing with our Marvel Cinematic Universe that we started this podcast with, with Iron Man, and then did Captain America. We've done Thor 1, so we thought instead of doing Iron Man 2, because same movie as the first one, we'll do the Avengers and then move on from there. Iron Man 3 in the future. Well, we're not doing it in order, obviously. We're doing lots of different shows. We just do Stranger Things, Into the Spider-Verse, so we're kind of jumping around, but when we have nothing specific that we're going to do a movie on, we're going to continue with the MCU. And when the MCU's done, which will probably be never, you know, who knows, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, things like that. But we've got some other things coming up that I thought we'd talk about since it's about movies and TV shows. Is in 2 weeks' time, it won't be the next Cinema Room, but it'll be maybe 2 episodes from now. Because in 2 weeks' time, Mindhunter Season 2 comes out.
Oh, really?
The trailer came out yesterday.
Oh, shit, I didn't even see it.
I tweeted it.
Oh, my God. I thought... Yeah, when did the first season come out? Was it end of 2017?
Yeah, end of 2017.
Yeah.
So it was like September 2017. So almost 2 full years.
Oh, that's crazy.
Since the first season of Mindhunter.
Oh, that's going to be great.
I feel like, I know this is a bit like... not really what the Cinema Room is, even though we talk about movies. That's what we do.
Yeah.
I feel like we could watch the trailer for this.
I think everyone will be really upset.
They'll
be so upset with this.
Would they really be upset with this?
No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
Because
to be fair, we're also advertising a future episode of this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But before we do that, we've got to thank our Patreon producers that make the show happen. This show happens because of patreon.com/as always. That's why we started doing this podcast.
That's true.
A third one, because we had so much support over there. So our producers, King Richard III, Smexy Dork, Kassassin, Elstico91, and Seth. Thanks, guys, for your constant support, making this show happen. If you enjoy what you're listening to here and you want to hear more, obviously we have the Kill Connor Club podcast that is free to everyone when it releases on all podcast services and YouTube. And as well, for $1 a month on patreon.com/as always, you get a week's early access to this podcast. Plus, when every week the Kill Connor Club podcast isn't on, the exclusive Patreon podcast, The Clubhouse, is over there. There's 67 plus episodes of content over there for that podcast.
That's a few episodes.
Lots of cool extras. Soon there'll be an Assassin's Creed movie drunk viewing commentary we did coming up. That'll be exclusive to Patreon. Plus loads more.
That's amazing. I might have to pledge.
I think you should.
That sounds incredible.
I think you should pledge, mate. I really do think you should pledge.
Yeah, I'm going to.
All right. We've also got to thank the rest of the Sweet Vintage lads. We've got a long list for helping power this podcast. That is King Richard III, once again, Smexy Dork, Kassassin, Elstico91, Seth, Balzac47, Damian, Billy the Team, Tynamite, Captain Robertson, Tman, Travis, Baby Boy, KEMOSABE Gamer, Casey Wood, Pink Flame 313, Adam Sundling, Alfie Rowsell, Jamie Brown, Jesper Olsen, Lumistrad, Murray 5380, is gay, Fat Fuck Cuck, Brendon Overlord, RAVJAI, Julli, Craig, Oscar, Benedict Parker returns, James and Lad, Connor Durose Bully in the alley, Zahir the FAT Gamer, Max H, Gene, Zeek Collins, Son of a Bitch Ogeaidogo, George, Dammit Glenn, Furious Coco, the ACMJS, Kyle, S Jaws, Marcus Blackburn, Emil Katborg, Joshua Mora, Ginko Swag, Master Bass, Yazen Al-Jahwari, the Sexy Boi Smith, H Pass 12 got Lombargo, Iron Man to the Dads, Durose, Alfie Rodbert, Brian Ford, Casper, Milk Boy, Fishy, and Andreu Martinez. Thanks, you sweet vintage lads, for helping power this podcast. Now let's get up this Mindhunter trailer for season 2. I'll take the speakers out and we'll just play it like softly.
Softly.
So at least the people in the audio can hear. So Mindhunter, by the way, for those who don't know, is a TV show about FBI investigators coining essentially the term serial killer in the early 1970s. And it's just their investigations of crimes that are pretty much done by serial killers before the term serial killer was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just like, no, these are just bad people. And these investigators, what they did was interview in prison serial killers like Ed Kemper, and who's an incredible character in this show. Made me go back and actually watch real life Ed Kemper interviews. And find patterns and behaviors within these people that link, so that they can then, when serial killers are abroad, they actually aren't just like, no, these are just bad mass killers. They're like, no, serial killers have actual traits to them. Why they kill, why they have certain specific targets, why is it always this type of young child, why is it always middle-aged women, why is it always yada yada yada.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So one of my favourite Netflix shows, top 3 Netflix shows.
It's a Netflix original?
Top 3,
very
easily
good.
top 3 Netflix originals. Like Black Mirror, Stranger Things, Mindhunter.
Yeah,
those
I
are
think
the
so
3
too.
best Netflix shows, I think. So
Would
season
highly
2,
recommend.
2 years of waiting. So here we go.
Okay.
January 1974. They just moved in 2 months prior. My partner and I were first on the scene. He was feeling for a light when something bumped him. That's when we found the little girl hanging from this pipe. Jesus.
I found someone to take over who will be very good for the BSU. He wants to expand the unit, and he intends to make our approach practice.
Tell me, who's the one you want more than anything?
Manson. I'll get you Manson.
Charles Manson to interview him.
And it's all yours if you help us identify the persons behind the murders of our children in Atlanta.
Another child reported missing in Atlanta. I'm sending you both. Won't see that for the duration. So all these children, one killer.
I believe that to be the case. It's statistically rare for serial killers to cross racial lines.
It's also statistically significant that the Klan kills black people.
Get him out of there. If he blows this gun, we'll rethink his investment.
I'm asking you as the leader of your department. What did Holden say that so offended the city?
We need to stay focused, but you're distracted.
I have some things to deal with at home. It's personal.
She had someone else's underwear stuffed down her throat.
It's Tiffany. Do you know where your children are?
This is one predator.
What if you're wrong?
I'm not.
Arrogant, self-serving twerp. We can't have tunnel vision, Holden.
What evidence is there to suspect the Klan?
Son, we've got 19 dead black children. You telling me that's a coincidence?
One more thing. Manson is small. Like really small.
Yes, Ed's back.
Try not to stare.
Oh, shit.
So Charles Manson will be like one of the main serial killers that interviews
That's a really good
in
trailer.
the next season.
That's going to be good.
So yeah,
That's
so
really
some
good.
sort of case. I haven't really researched it.
Mm-hmm.
In Atlanta, with like they say 16 black children are being killed, and so the town assumes it's the Klan, but Holton is, like, no, this is a serial killer. So that seems to be the tension of the storyline will be, and like, the mystery of like them trying to solve it, alongside learning more about serial killers. Ed Kemper's there once again, who was the main sort of serial killer they interviewed.
Yeah.
One of the best like characters of the show,
he was
probably the
very good,
best like character.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting going from that like giant physical look of Ed Kemper, and then next season's like 5'2",
Yeah.
Charles Manson.
Oh, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
What happened with that? Because there was a whole sort of... it was like a... Not necessarily an overarching storyline, but there was like something they kept...
With BTK Killer.
They kept linking back to, right?
Yeah, BTK.
So what was that about?
At the start of every episode, they had... this is definitely not the Avengers spoiler cast. We'll get to it, but this is where this will be 2 episodes from now. We'll be talking about Mindhunter Season 2.
Yeah.
So why not take the start to kind of talk about other movies? Might even become a thing when we don't have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we start talking about other movies. So.
Yeah. You know what? The first question could be, oh, what have you been watching recently? Blah blah blah. We do that on like what games you're playing on Kill Connor Club. Start with that and then go into this podcast. Unless it's like Avengers Endgame. You know what I mean? When you've got those things like, no, we're here to talk about this.
Yeah,
But we're talking about the Avengers. We'll get into it.
Yeah.
Fucking people
We'll
will
do
do that. So, it's the start of each Mindhunter episode in season 1, there was like this guy that was only like, what? Cold opens were like a minute long at most, 50 seconds.
Yeah.
And it was just this dude, normal looking guy, probably like 30, mid-30s.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just doing mundane tasks, but he was always watching people and like weirdly.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
And then it started getting a bit suspicious by like the 6th, 7th episode sort of thing. And he's like, jacking off into like panties or something like that, or like doing something weird, or
There was,
like
some
and
weird
then
stuff,
wearing
yeah.
gloves, buying weird stuff, and you're like, oh, this guy's like, this is like had drawings of things, and it's like, oh, this guy's becoming. He hasn't killed yet, but he's got the serial killer mentality.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the last episode, like, it looked like he was going to kill, and he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And then you kind of like left, and that was it. He decided not to, and that's kind of it. There's
Yeah.
no like follow-up. I think that's the final case of this show.
The whole thing, yeah.
The whole thing, and who that man is BTK Killer.
Okay,
The
who's
BTK
that?
Killer. Bind. Is it? It's not bind, torture, kill. Bind. BTK stands for bind. Something kill.
You want to Google it?
Yeah. Okay. And I spent heaps of time looking into BTK. I
Okay.
watched his full 1 hour confession on YouTube. A whole bunch of documentaries about it and stories about it. Like he
Isn't that going to spoil the show, though?
fucked.
If it's based on real history?
Well, all of these are Charles Manson's a real guy. Ed Kemper's a real guy. They're all based on real history.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not going to
also-
look up the case of this Atlanta case. I don't want to know. You know, that's the story of the season.
Yeah.
I don't even know if BTK will be the end. Who knows when the show gets... What if the show got cancelled after 2 seasons and you never
Could
see
you
it
imagine
anymore?
it got cancelled? It's so good.
Oh, it's so good.
It's so good.
But I really wanted to know who this guy was, BTK Killer. Dennis Rader.
Okay.
Bind... What is it? What the fuck does it stand for?
Yeah, it is Bind, Torture, Kill. There it is.
Bind, Torture, Kill. Okay. Bind, Torture, Kill. I was right. And the interesting thing about him was he got away with it, essentially. He was similar to the Zodiac Killer. That's where he got
Okay.
inspiration from. He would send letters and
Okay.
shit into the news to read about his killings and shit.
So that's like Jack the Ripper.
Righto. Okay.
That wasn't an Assassin's Creed reference.
Yeah.
I feel like you made that an Assassin's Creed
Well, I
reference.
just... Fuck Jack the Ripper. Who cares?
Yeah, he's alright. He wore it back on his head.
Yeah, so he his killings were like in the 70s and 80s. And then he stopped killing.
Okay.
And they never caught him.
So how do they know who it
In
is?
2005,
Mm-hmm.
they tried to kind of they used the news to try to like tempt him out to send another letter again. And what he did was Dennis Rader went and recreated, I might be getting the timelines wrong, recreated the photos of his killings and took photos of himself wearing a woman's mask of like how he killed people.
Okay.
And then he sent it in on a floppy disk to a news outlet.
Right.
But to edit his letter that he wrote on, he used Microsoft Word. And I don't know if you know much about Microsoft Office, but when you buy Microsoft Office, there's a serial number to your user.
Oh.
So they used the serial number on his Microsoft Office and found that it was a church in Wichita.
Okay.
And then they went to that church and had, like, investigated there quietly and pretty much determined exactly who it was.
Wow.
Because he worked in his community church, Dennis Rader. And then they couldn't get DNA off him, so they went to his daughter's house and looked through a bin and took his daughter's DNA and knew that it was a match for the victims on the killings, so they arrested him.
Oh shit, that's fucking cool.
Like 15 years after his last kill, they got him.
That's mad.
Yeah.
That is mad.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
I hope they do that.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah. Well, now I know it though. So I kind of hope they don't
how much
do that,
does it
actually.
look like an older version of that guy that was in
I don't remember what the guy looked like, to be honest with you.
DK Killer? Let's have a look. Images. That was the cold open guy, and that's the real guy.
Yeah, it does.
Because that's in the 70s, and that's 2005.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yep, it will be fun. Serial
It'll be
killers.
so fun.
So much fun.
Isn't it weird that people like to watch things like this?
I
Like,
love watching serial killer stuff.
isn't it weird though?
I'm obsessed with it. Honestly, because it's so fucking because I'm a normal person that would never do it.
Yeah.
So I want to understand how someone could possibly do it. I want to know what's wrong with them, how they think that they could do something so disgusting and extreme.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah, that's why I
Even when it's fictional. It's like it's not, but it is.
What do you mean?
Well,
Well,
like-
Mindhunter.
Yeah,
Well,
like
it's
Mindhunter's
based
fictional,
off
but-
true events. Like
Yeah.
the characters are based off real characters, like these FBI guys,
Yeah, yeah.
and then they're using actual real serial killers.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure all these cases that they did were real.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm fairly certain.
I think so.
But yeah,
It's good.
Mindhunter season 2.
Very good.
We will do spoiler cast for that.
Mhm.
So because the show comes out August 16th. This comes out
Oh, it comes out 2 days after Tarantino's movie comes out in the UK.
now. So this podcast comes out on Patreon on the 11th. So no, the next episode of the Cinema Room will be season 2 of Mindhunter.
Yeah.
It won't even be 2
nice.
episodes from now. So the next
That's
episode.
epic. What are we doing about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? Because that comes out, it comes out 2 days before Mindhunter.
Well, maybe let's do Once Upon a Time in Hollywood first then. Because the movie
Okay.
makes more sense. The movie's a bit more Mindhunter. It's a season of a show. Give people more time to
Yeah.
finish the season.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Okay, so
Cool.
yeah, it'll be next episode will be Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which
Mhm.
would have been this episode, but it's not out in the UK yet,
That's such a shame.
Um,
That would have been a good one.
or in Australia. It was out in the US because I came over. I'm like, yeah, we'll see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's already out because
Came out like 2 weeks
I was
ago
in
in the
America.
US.
I was in America when it came out.
Mm.
I was in LA the day before the premiere, and they were setting up the
Oh, okay.
Hollywood Walk of Fame for it and everything, and it was posters everywhere. And then I heard people talking about it, saying it was like half saying it was really good, half saying it was terrible.
Mhm.
But I'm interested to see it, and that
Yeah.
involves new Charles Manson
It
stuff as
does,
well. So
yeah.
it's interesting. These next two things will be heavy involved
Oh.
with Charles Manson.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Amazing. It's
Amazing.
the Charles
I
Manson month on the Kill Connor
I
Club Cinema Room podcast.
The As Always Cinema Room Kill Connor Club.
Kill Connor Club Clubhouse Movie Club.
Exactly.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Alright.
Good. All right. Avengers.
Yeah. So there's our next 2 episodes advertised out of the way. We rewatched the Avengers at the end of last week,
Mm-hmm. We did do that.
just to kind of recap in our head. So talk about the Avengers, the first Avengers film,
Avengers.
the film that, you know, Iron Man started it all, but it started an opportunity to make the Avengers.
Yes.
There would be no Infinity War Endgame if the Avengers wasn't nailed.
Yeah.
And because if Avengers was a flop and all these other heroes were a flop, they would just make Iron Man movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they would just be like, well, I guess we're making Iron Man movies. Like,
Could you imagine that? A whole universe
I
is
could.
just Iron Man?
well, no, I mean, you, like any other superhero that's just that superhero and has like a trilogy or something.
I guess so. When was the last time we had that?
Batman.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah. Do you?
I remember Batman.
Yeah.
That one time.
Yeah. And I can definitely imagine other movies flopping. You know, look at the DCU. I mean, it's every movie, but you know, whatever. Even
release
Marvel
the
shit
Snyder
movies
Cut.
that aren't the MCU are managing to make lots of money. Venom made $1 billion. How fucking retarded is
Did
that?
Venom make $1 billion?
They're making a second movie, man. It's already confirmed. They've got Andy Serkis directing it.
That
which
might
is-
be okay.
Which is yeah.
Oh, but I don't care, though.
But if it's if they bring this into the MCU though,
No.
well, if they bring the second movies in the MCU, the first one's not.
No. Stop it.
But they're gonna cross him over.
No.
Yeah, but I know.
Don't do it.
I know that, but like
Just
they're going
start
to cross.
again. Try again. It's just not good enough. Because then so if the second one's really good and they cross it over with the MCU and they're like, okay, this is MCU now, that also means the first one is MCU.
Yeah.
And it's really bad.
Have you seen it?
No.
Oh, okay.
But I've seen clips of it.
Yeah.
And
right.
it's really bad. Like there's like a scene where Eddie Brock is in the woods and Venom's talking to him. Venom makes this weird joke like, oh, on my planet I'm kind of a loser like you. It's fucking weird. It's like, no, I don't want that in the MCU. You stop this nonsense.
Yeah. Okay.
Not good.
All right. Well, anywho, the Avengers had to nail it, and they did nail it.
Yes.
Is the Avengers the best Avengers movie? I think we both agree no.
Yes. Oh. No.
Okay, there we go.
I'm talking so much shit.
But at the time, it was like the best thing ever.
I don't remember it at the time because I didn't watch it at the time.
Did you not?
No.
Right.
Because like I said, I mean, when we talked about the MCU, the first time we ever talked about the MCU, which was years ago now, I watched Iron Man, and I watched Iron Man 2, and then I didn't watch any other MCU movies until you brought up the MCU, and I'm like, what's the MCU? And then I
Always
started
forget
watching them.
I did that. I saved your life, eh?
Yeah. Oh, well, I did.
I'm like,
Okay.
here's Lord of the Rings on a silver platter. Here's the MCU on a silver platter.
Yeah.
Here's Mass Effect. That was a good one I gave you. What
Yeah.
was Kingdom Hearts?
Oh gosh.
I
Well,
saved
a
your
few
life.
things.
What have you given me, James?
The Kill Connor Club podcast.
I feel like I gave you that too. I forced it
That's
on you.
true.
I feel like
That's
I didn't give it
true.
to you. I forced that on you.
That's right.
I wouldn't say I gave it to you. I would say I forced it on you, and you reluctantly accepted.
Yeah, you're right.
What about? You gave me.
I think there's something. I think there's one thing.
The only movie I hadn't seen that we've done cinema, and I was like Into the
Into the
Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse. I gave you Into the Spider-Verse. That's pretty good.
I mean, it was fine. Yeah, it was good.
Oh, okay.
It was good. It was, Into the Spider-Verse is good.
Okay.
It's not Kingdom Hearts.
Is
it's
it
not
okay.
the MCU.
Yeah. Well, look,
Lord of the Rings.
I tried my best.
You know, but if you could step it up, that'd be nice.
Okay, I'll find something.
Okay.
I'll find something amazing.
Okay.
But yeah, Avengers. Oh yeah, so I watched Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2.
Right.
And then I didn't watch anything else.
You did. I can tell you what you
Um,
gave me, and I was probably going to play it
Okay.
anyway. But you made me get God of War really fast. Like I was like, oh yeah, I'll get around to it. And you told me on the day you
yeah.
played it for an hour, and you're like, no, go and get it right now.
Yeah.
So I mean, I was going to play it, but you really, I could maybe if weeks had gone on, I might have been like, But then the reviews were so good, I'm sure I would have played it. But like, you know, I'll let you have half of that.
Okay.
And that's the best game I've ever played.
Okay, I'm happy with
That's
that.
the best game I've ever played. So
I'm happy with that.
There you go.
I'm happy with that. But yeah, so I watched Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2. Didn't watch Avengers. Didn't watch Captain America. Didn't watch Thor. But what I did, I remember what I did do a few years later, when I was just like, I need to watch a movie. I was like, just like sitting here, it was late at night. I was like, I want to watch a movie. And I was like, oh, I like Marvel movies. I'm going to watch Iron Man 3. So I watched Iron Man 3 because I'd seen the first two. I was like, I'm not going to watch, you know, a superhero I don't know. I was like, you know, I like Iron Man. I'll watch Iron Man 3. So I watched that.
And you're like, this makes no sense.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, I don't get what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a weird movie. It's really weird, actually, recalling that experience because a lot of it is based on what happened in Avengers.
Yeah.
And I was like, I must have just forgotten Iron Man 2 because I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Well, do you want to know what happened to Iron Man 2? Watch Iron Man 1. Same thing. Tony Stark's an asshole, and then he's not at the end.
Yeah, that's true.
And he wears an Iron Man suit.
That's true.
Has lots of money.
That's why Iron Man 3 is better than Iron Man 2.
Iron Man 3 is better than Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
Still not good, but,
is
you
good,
know.
though.
Yeah, no,
it is good,
No,
though.
it's not.
It is though. Well, say what you will,
If
but
it
Guy
wasn't
Pearce
in the
is my favorite
if it
villain
wasn't
in the
MCU, tonally such a weird fucking movie. Iron Man 3. And I realize it's not an Iron Man 3 spoilercast, but we will eventually do it. It's such a weird fucking movie tonally.
Is it?
So weird.
Why?
It's so intense at the start. The first so intense. I'm like, hey, relax.
Is it intense?
Like, if it was just this Iron Man trilogy, it'd probably make sense. But it was just like, you go from the Avengers where it's fantasy, and then all of a sudden it's like this dude's having fucking panic attacks.
Yeah, it's good.
Every fast. But then everything they do about never really addressed again throughout any of the other MCU movies.
They do. That's why he makes Ultron. Because of Iron Man 3. That's why
It's not because of Iron Man.
we need
3,
a suit of armor around the world, and then he's like freaking out in Endgame.
But
when
he
the world fucking
fucks up,
ends
and then he's just like, but it's the same Iron Man 1 to 2 situation, where he tries to build all these fucking suits, and he's going obsessed with it, and he's going crazy about it, and then he learns, oh, I fucked up, I shouldn't have done all that, you know what I mean? Like, but then he's like, oh, I'll do that again, I'll make Ultron.
But he does it differently. But then he finds, because he's like, oh, the staff, oh, maybe we can make this work this time, and then after everything, after Scovia and everything, he's like, oh, we'll get the Accords, and he fucks up the Avengers.
Yeah.
And
So what you're telling me is Tony Stark's a dick.
he's yeah.
I don't like him. Glad he's dead. Glad he's dead.
Tony's arc in
What an
every
idiot.
single movie post Avengers is him dealing with the guilt and trying to feel like he has to prevent things from happening before they happen, and that's juxtaposed to Cap. Because he's like, every time someone tries to prevent a war before it starts, millions of people die.
So what you're saying is
It's opposite.
Captain's the best.
Well, yeah, we know that. But
I'm just making sure everyone else knows that.
Tony, the point is, Tony tries to be a hero in every single movie and gets it wrong because he's acting out of impulse and guilt and emotion rather than doing what's right, which is why he splits up the Avengers, which is why he makes Ultron, and that's why they lose against Thanos.
Well,
but
that's
then,
why he betrayed Captain America. the rat.
Yeah, he did. He did, but they're fine. They're friends now.
No, they're not. One's dead and the other's old.
Oh, God.
They're not friends now.
Oh, God. Yeah. Anyway, Avengers. What do you think of Avengers, Tyler?
Well, Avengers for me was one of the, at the time, the best movie going experience I'd ever had.
Yeah.
Because I'd seen Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, and loved the Iron Man movies. I'd seen Thor, and I loved Thor.
Mm-hmm.
It was a big deal in Australia because it was Chris Hemsworth,
Yeah,
who was a big teen actor here. And then he's made it in Hollywood. He's in a Marvel movie. It was all over the news the year while they were filming. It was a big deal. So I had to see that, support the Aussie, and I loved it. And then finding out it's connected, and then they're making Avengers combining them. I remember Harlan, my brother, telling me, he goes, the Avengers, that's like the Marvel Justice League. I didn't know much about Marvel. Like, I wasn't a big Marvel guy as a kid. I was a Batman guy.
Yeah.
Wasn't DC necessarily, because I didn't care about Superman I didn't care about anyone. I was only superhero I really liked was Batman.
Yeah.
But then Iron Man, I was like, oh, this is really cool. I'd seen the Spider-Man movies, because what kid wasn't taking to see Spider-Man movies. So I knew the difference between Marvel and DC. But I couldn't have told you when I was young which one was which sort of thing. I just knew there was like two main comic book things.
Okay.
And then, and I knew the Justice League from cartoons and shit as a kid, because all the DC animated were big when I was a kid as well.
Yeah.
Like Harlan loved that shit. Then you get to the Avengers coming out. I hadn't seen Captain America 1. I hadn't seen it yet. So when I go to the Avengers, I'm like, I'll watch Captain America 1 afterwards. It's just Captain America. What a lame name.
Yeah.
What a lame name. Captain America. Fuck
Captain
America.
America.
All that shit.
Fuck America.
Fuck America. And I was just like, oh, whatever. I know Iron Man. I know Thor. That'll be enough. Main villain's Loki. You'd be right. And then movies packed. Like, went on the day of release, and in Australia, pretty much every Marvel movie comes out early. So we had it probably 2 or 3 days before America got it and UK got it. It was on Anzac Day, which is like a big day of remembrance in Australia. So it's a public holiday. Cinemas absolutely packed. Full. The next 4 sessions were sold out. I'd never seen that before in my local cinema. I don't live in a... Like, I wasn't living in a major city central area at the time. Yeah. So we left to like Macca's for like 3 hours, and because we bought tickets to like a late afternoon session. Yeah. Go in, sold out again, and I've never seen a crowd so into a movie before at a cinema. Like, I'd never seen that. It's not something that happens a lot in Australia, and I hadn't really seen sold out cinemas before. And everyone was cheering and like laughing, and I was like, wow, this is so much fun. I'm enjoying this so much, and I loved Iron Man, obviously, and Tony Stark, and I loved Thor, and I was like, oh, Captain America's alright. Yeah. And I remember making fun of... Well, I was excited for Thor more than anyone, because I was kind of like, yeah, Thor's my guy. Fuck yeah. Yeah. So I was just wondering, when's Thor coming in? When the fuck's Thor coming in? That moment where like they're in the jet. Yeah. Chasing after Loki.
They've got Loki.
Oh, they've got Loki.
They're taking him back. Yeah.
Yes, correct. And then Thor. You hear the lightning, and then Thor comes on.
Oh, that's a great line that Loki gives as well, because you've got the lightning going and there's thunder, and then I forget is it Natasha that says it, or someone else that says what's the matter? You afraid of a little lightning? And then Loki says, I'm not fond of what follows. Yeah, meaning thunder.
I'm not fond of what follows.
And that's a great. And then Thor lands on the top. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that is a great line. Yeah. It's a great introduction to the start of the movie with Loki as well, though, because Thor's the direct chronological event that occurs before Avengers, like the movie that occurs right before it, because that came out end of 2011, so Avengers was like 6 months later. And it's the scientist dude from Thor. Loki in the SHIELD facility. Loki comes in, fucking brainwashes Clint, Hawkeye.
Yeah, he's evil for most of this movie.
For like 60% of the movie. Probably.
Not a fan of that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, kind of. It was tough. Like what it told you about Clint was he was an amazing fighter. Yeah, but we already knew. But what do you know about his personality before the end of the movie? Yeah. They did do a lot with him in the second Avengers movie.
Yeah,
to be fair,
he's a big character in that.
Yeah. thankfully, because he's one of the best characters.
Yeah, he's
in the
really
MCU.
great.
Now, the shield facility collapses because obviously it's a fucking Tesseract.
Mm-hmm.
You know, going crazy. They're trying to use it.
Yeah.
But now Loki's out and about, and this is like, Loki was a great villain in Thor, but he wasn't like, he was a bit of like, you're kind of like, oh, fucking, you wanted to hate him, you're like, oh, fuck you, this little weasel looking dude. But in the Avengers, you hit this point where you're like, oh, nah, like, he's actually really entertaining. I think it was just because I think Avengers was a way better written dialogue movie.
Yeah.
That, like, when he was delivering lines, he didn't just sound like a whiny bitch. He sounded like a whiny villain, like, when he, like, I deserve all this, I'm a god, all that. Like, you got that.
Yeah.
But also how smart he was and how menacing he was. It just gave you a bit more to it with the dialogue, I think, in this movie.
Yeah. And then, when Loki's escaped... Sorry. When Loki's escaped and Nick Fury's there and Coulson's like, what are we going to do? Nick Fury goes, we're going to call Captain Marvel and we're going to save the world. Right? That's what happens, right?
You son of a bitch.
You think the logical Nick Fury would do that, right? Right? Like, maybe when they're gonna nuke Manhattan, maybe it's time to call Captain Marvel. No?
Are you really doing this right now?
When Loki sends an army of aliens through space, maybe it's time to call Captain Marvel.
You're doing this right now. You are gonna do this right now.
Yeah. I'm not happy about Captain Marvel, Tyler. It's ruined a lot of things for me. What's going on? Where is she? Why does Nick Fury never call Captain Marvel? What's going on? Do you have a theory that can save this for me?
Because he can't rely on someone that's going around the galaxy to all these different planets, busy all the time, to be ready to go as soon as he needs them, when he has heroes. Captain America, Iron Man,
True, but
Thor,
he
Hulk, Hawkeye, Natasha. He's got a team here that's based on Earth that he can mold now. He needs this moment to make him, or else what's the point? It'll never work. Eventually something's going to get to Earth, and Captain Marvel can't always be there. Eventually Earth's going to fall. He either makes a team in this moment that is there for them, or it's over anyway.
Sure.
It's inevitable.
It is, yeah.
I am inevitable.
It's so weird that he just...
Is that not a good argument?
Kind of, but
yeah,
also...
it is.
But when he...
Stop whinging about Brie Larson's Captain Marvel, James. We get it, you don't like her. We know that.
I love her. I don't know what you're talking about. When the army comes through space...
You're sexist, we get it.
They're gonna destroy the fucking planet. Why doesn't he call Captain Marvel?
Because...
He doesn't even consider it.
Because he believes in his team.
That's nice.
Yeah, I know.
That's nice.
Yeah. And was he right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. Okay, you've convinced me.
Yeah.
I didn't really need convincing, but you've done it anyway, just in case.
Fuck.
I was just being that voice in the comments.
Yeah.
So it's okay. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Jesus Christ.
I'm also a Captain Marvel super fan.
You are. You love Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Right. Well...
I don't even hate Captain Marvel that much. I think it's fine.
I think you do.
No, I think it's fine.
I think you do.
And she's pretty good. Don't like Brie Larson, but I kind of like the character. Pretty good. Anyway, you want to carry on with the spoilers?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
What did you think? So, had you seen the first time you saw The Avengers?
Mm-hmm.
Were you watching that in order, or was that one of the movies you might have seen before you watched the MCU?
I think I saw clips. Like I'd seen. Okay, so what I had seen was the battle. So I remember specifically seeing like Clint shooting the arrows and being like, "Who the fuck is this guy? And why is he fighting alongside Hulk?" Yeah. I saw obviously the Avengers scene, like the
an assembling
Avengers shot where it's like
and Iron Man's in it, and you hadn't figured out there's a universe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking. That's cool.
And
tell me more about your complaints about Captain Marvel, but
and
cool.
And then and then that was about it. So like I knew it existed, but I didn't really, because I didn't pay attention that much. So like I watched the event, like I watched Iron Man 1 and 2 when they came out, but then I didn't bother with any of this until, I don't know, it must have been like 2014 when I'm like, oh yeah, the Avengers exist. Like I just didn't care.
Right, you didn't care. Which is yeah.
So
sure.
I
If
never
you don't
really
care, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
I never really knew. But yeah, obviously when you told me about the MCU, I'm like, oh, because I didn't even remember the Iron Man movies. Like it was so long ago, they were just sort of like movies I'd watched, like the Spider-Man movies or whatever.
Yeah.
But when you told me about the MCU and you're like, no, all these are interconnected and you've got all of these different movies,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's really fucking cool.
Was it 2015? Was it?
Yes.
Or was it started 2016? Like before Civil War? Was Civil War the first one you saw at cinemas? I feel like it was.
Doctor Strange.
Oh my god! So Civil War you missed.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I didn't see that in the cinema. I saw that, like I think it was like on Amazon or something. I bought it. So yeah, like the digital version.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it was late.
Like I was talking about the MCU. I have been a massive MCU fan. I'll tell you when I decided I was a massive MCU fan. Like from the first Avengers movie, I was like, "Fuck yeah, MCU's sick. I fucking love this. This is really cool that they did that." But the MCU is so much deeper than Thor, Cap, Iron Man, and the Avengers 6. You know, like it's so many different heroes, so many different movies, and we're expanding even more moving forward now. But I already understood how big it was to where we're going. You know, for the last few years. But I didn't at that point. I was just like, well, they're nailing it with these 3 heroes and then teaming up.
Yeah.
You can't really go bigger than that. That won't work.
Yeah.
In my head.
Yeah.
Iron Man 3 comes out as it should. You know, we're continuing with those heroes and then, you know.
Thor, Captain America.
And we'll have an Avengers trilogy and then they'll wrap it up. Because there's no way you can have more than that many people.
Yeah.
And in different movies that all are good. There's no way. For the Dark World. I liked Thor. Like I loved Loki, and I think it's Loki's best performance. If I'm being totally honest, in Thor: The Dark World.
Yeah. I don't think it's that bad, to be honest.
Other than that, it's not much. It's not much.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any bad MCU movies at all. It's
Incredible
just
Hulk.
fine. But like, if you really watch it, like, it's fine as it is. But like,
No,
it sucks
it's
in the
not.
MCU because it's not even the same guy.
The Incredible Hulk isn't just bad though. When was the last time you watched it? Or have you ever seen it?
Since probably it came out around that time.
Oh, see, I
And I don't remember really any of it. I just remember being like,
It's like, yeah, no, it's not good.
But Hulk was one of my favourite heroes as a kid.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I always thought he was a bit lame.
Yeah.
Just sort of smashes things.
I think the only ever comic books I ever read were Hulk ones. That I was like, I went and bought like graphic novels and read about Hulk. I actually was a big Hulk fan.
Okay.
Fucking don't give a fuck about him now. But I guess I remember as a kid being at my grandparents' house, I was reading like the Hulk graphic novels and stuff. Like being really into it. Mum's like, are you reading? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, what are you reading? Hulk. And she's like, oh, okay. I was excited for a second.
Yeah.
The MCU, when I was like, oh, I'm all in, the MCU is perfect, and I'll watch anything they do.
Yeah.
So I see Winter Soldier, and I'm like, okay, Captain America's my favourite superhero, first of all. That was the best Marvel movie I've ever seen, second of all. Oh. Guardians of the Galaxy is about to come out? What the fuck is this bullshit? I watched the trailer, laughed. You got Batista from WWE in it? Fuck your movie.
Oh, how weird is that?
Vin Diesel's a tree. I'm like, you got the guy from fucking Parks and Rec, Chris Pratt.
Oh my god, yeah. That must have been so strange.
Fuck that guy. Fuck this movie. How embarrassing. The trailer looks stupid. They're all standing in a line. I'm like, oh, you got a raccoon. Played by Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
Bradley, how you have fallen. This is me in 2014. Laughing at this movie. I just seen Winter Soldier. I'm like, that was it. Here we go. This is where Marvel falls. They're trying to overstep their bounds now.
Yeah.
I go to see it with my brother Harlan, and Corey is a diehard Marvel fan. Literally lives for Deadpool. Read all the comics when he was a kid. And he's like, oh, like, I get what you're saying. It's a bit, it's probably not going to be good. But we've got to see it to know.
Yeah.
All right. Opening day, go see Guardians. I'm like, I'm here to make fun of this. This is what Marvel fails this time.
Yeah.
I walked out and I was like, I will watch anything they do, and assume it's going to be great, because that was one of the best things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I fucking loved it. That was when I was like, I am all in on the MCU. That was when I was all in, because everything else was like, I was already all in on the Avengers. I was already all in on Captain America for sure. Iron Man, Thor.
Yeah.
But I just didn't think they could do more. And the fact that the Avengers 1 movie was so good gave them the platform to be like, we don't just have to do 3 heroes movie. We can do whatever we want.
Mm-hmm.
Let's dip our toes in Guardians. Let's do Ant-Man, you know? Then they could do Doctor Strange and, you know, Civil War, introduce Spider-Man, Black Panther, you know? And then just expand. But it was... Guardians of the Galaxy was the first movie that wasn't the original Avengers movies.
Yeah. That's strange.
And that's what it was. Because if you can do Guardians of the Galaxy, who... Before that movie, no one even knew who they were.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
You can do anything.
Yeah.
But it
That's
was...
true.
The only reason that happened was the Avengers. And...
Yeah.
There's so many layers to what they nailed, because obviously they had the foundations of all these characters done.
Mm-hmm.
They're the perfect villain. In Loki, they didn't try to reintroduce a new villain.
Yeah.
They brought a villain from the most recent movie, and Tom Hiddleston's amazing.
Yeah, that was good.
And then teased a storyline that would overarch with Thanos at the end.
Yeah. That was really cool, the way that they did that as well, like with little lines here and there in the movie. So, like, if you're a big fan of Marvel comics...
Because I didn't know who it was.
You'll notice.
I had to have someone tell me who it was.
Yeah,
I was
well, I didn't notice the first time either, because obviously I didn't know anything about any of this stuff. But it was like, once I was really into the MCU, I knew Infinity War was happening, like, oh, Thanos is the big villain. When you go back and watch Avengers, you notice things like when Loki's talking to the guy who leads the Chitauri, like, he talks about, like, oh, the guy who gave you the scepter and gave you all this power. And he's, like, talking about Thanos, and they're by his, like, weird throne in space and everything.
Yeah, I think...
And that's really cool.
I think it was Corey that would have told me, because he's the biggest Marvel person I know.
Mm-hmm.
There was like, he's like, that's Thanos. I think even Harlan told me. Like, my brother seems to know. He already knew. He didn't.
Yeah.
He wasn't a big Marvel fan, but like he knew stuff. Like he
Yeah.
knew enough. Like he knew what Thanos was, because Thanos is obviously a massive villain.
Yeah.
He goes, "Oh, that's Thanos." I'm like, who?
Oh.
And I'm like, "Oh, cool. They're setting up wherever they go." And I'm like, "That's cool," you know. But I remember, I think in that movie, I wasn't a big Cap fan.
Mm-hmm.
Because I hadn't seen the first movie, which, if you haven't, so good.
Yeah.
The most underrated Marvel movie, I believe, MCU movie.
Yeah, probably is.
And then, in this movie, worst cap suit of all time.
Oh, God.
Worst cap suit, we can agree on that.
So bad.
So bad. So bad. And then, like... You have that moment, and I never really picked it up a lot at early days, because I was like, Captain America, a bit of a cookie cutter, white bread, like,
yeah,
bit of a nerd,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Good guy, you know, Iron Man's for the dads, the anti-hero.
Iron Man's cool and for the dads, that's what we want.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
you know, that cool anti-hero. And then Thor's from space. What have you got going for you, Cap? Oh, you're nice, you're a good guy, do everything right. Fuck you.
Yeah,
you know?
It's almost like in the first Avengers, because in subsequent movies he fits in really well because everyone respects him. But when nobody respects him in Avengers 1, like you got them all fighting and he's just trying to be Cap, it almost... I don't know, maybe it's the way that the movie was written, but you almost don't like him. I don't know if...
I'll tell you what really made me do like him. I was rewatching it this time, we just rewatched it. Was the moment, I don't know why I never really noticed. I always notice when Cap runs up to like the police and he goes, because he knows New York, he's from New York, so he goes, you need blah, blah, people here, you know, you take them to the underground, this happened, you need coverage here, and he's like, why should I listen to you? And then he beats up some aliens, they're like, oh, we'll go do that. We'll listen to Cap.
Yeah, that's great.
First of all, it's Captain America, you should have just fucking done it. You're Americans, you know who Captain America is. Like, he's like the first real life superhero in your universe.
Yeah.
But the thing that I get is when... the respect for the team that has for him. When they all have the Avengers Assemble moment, and Iron Man goes, call it, Cap. And then Cap's the one that, you know, that's the first moment where you're like,
that's good.
Captain America's the leader of the... This is the first Avengers in combat moment. And, you know, Iron Man's the main face, marketing-wise, in you know, our world, as in movies.
Yeah.
Iron Man's like the face of Marvel. But in that movie, the reality is, in the story, Captain America's the leader of the Avengers. And that respect, Iron Man turns to him and goes, they've been bickering the whole movie, but then they fought beside each other, and they're like the two pillars of the Avengers.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, call it, Cap. And Cap commands and does the whole plan strategy for taking on.
Yeah, that's very good.
For taking on the battle and everything, and that's all the action scenes that happen is his plan. But one of them is just like he tells everyone to do all this stuff because they can do cool shit, and then he's like, "I'll be on the ground," and it's like it's kind of like it's hard to really get into him, especially when. And I thought they did him dirty because at the time I made fun of him when I first saw it. I was like, "Look at Iron Man fighting like 7 guys when they're Hulk's going crazy on the ship and they're getting Loki out and shit's going on and." The turbine of the massive freight ship fucking thing, the aircraft carrier that flies. Iron Man's like fighting for all these people, and here's like Cap with a gun fighting struggling with one guy.
That's the weirdest thing. Cap has got a fucking assault rifle, and he's like hiding behind cover, popping up, shooting people. It's like
struggling.
The hell? And then he falls off, and he's grabbing onto a wire, like, oh shit. Like, I'm gonna fucking die.
Struggling with one guy.
Yeah.
And then Iron Man's like kills 7 people and flies a wind turbine into like safety. I was like, you done him dirty. At the time I was like, look at this guy.
Yeah.
Fuck Cap.
Yeah. I think it's like the first half of the movie, because Iron Man is almost like the audience's way into the movie, because that was the biggest movie so far was Iron Man.
Yeah, for sure.
That's who everybody loved. And so it's almost like you're with Iron Man, so you're on his side. And like, so Cap sort of takes a back
and
seat.
he's funny and he's witty and all the,
and he's making fun of Cap, and you're like, yeah, get him.
Get him. Especially I hadn't even seen the fucking first Captain America movie, which is like, it makes me cringe. It makes me sad. I want to cry because, looking back on it, then you see Winter Soldier. I'm like, holy shit, this is the best superhero in this universe, and
great.
The best movie. And then you look back and seeing the first one, and then watching the first Avengers movie, I'm like, oh, they really did him dirty in this. Fuck you, Josh Whedon.
Yeah.
Josh Whedon. Josh Weasel.
Okay.
Josh Weasel, that goes and fucking tries to make Justice League because he thinks he's better than us. He's like, Marvel doesn't want me anymore. No, we don't. I'm the reason the Avengers was good. I'll make Justice League. Oh, no, it's not.
Yeah.
If you were left to your own devices with any of these Avengers movies, it would have sucked. Kevin Feige is the reason they were good.
Yeah.
You go fuck yourself.
He did Age of Ultron as well.
He did. Significantly worse.
Yeah.
Easily the worst of the Avengers movies. Yeah. Of the Avengers,
Sure.
4 films.
I don't think it's that bad.
No, I don't either.
I think it's good, actually.
I think it's a good... I like Age of Ultron. I like Age of Ultron.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying it's the worst Avengers movie.
Yeah. No, yeah. Okay.
In a list of them, it's the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're 4 of the top 10 highest grossing films of all time.
They are that.
It's the bottom one there, too.
Yeah.
It's still in the top 10.
Yeah.
Because it's good.
It is good.
But, worst one.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
We're good?
Yeah.
We're good?
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
We agree.
That's all I'm saying.
Good.
Cool.
But yeah, I mean, Avengers, I think...
What are the 2 best ones?
Endgame and Infinity War?
Did he... Josh Weasel make them?
No,
I didn't think so.
Not that I know of.
No, I didn't think so.
Maybe he did.
What's the 4 best Marvel movies, probably? 4 of the 5 best Marvel movies. Endgame? Would you put that in there?
Yeah.
Infinity War?
All the Russo movies.
Winter Soldier? Civil War? Oh yeah, the Russo movies, not Josh Weasel's
Why
movies.
don't they just make MCU movies?
Yeah, I don't know.
Just them? They can direct every single movie.
Your top 5 MCU movies, you've all 4 Russo brothers movies are in my top 5.
Mm-hmm. Who wrote those movies?
The same guys wrote all those movies, I think. It wasn't the Russos.
No.
But the 2 guys that wrote all those movies, I forget their names, are now just started a company with the Russo brothers.
Oh, okay.
So.
That's cool.
Fuck.
Yeah. They good rise.
I'm pretty sure they wrote Captain 1. Maybe.
I wouldn't know.
I don't know.
Who directed the first Captain America?
Don't know.
No, not at all.
Someone not as good as the Russo brothers, though.
No.
Because as much as I love the first Captain America movie,
yeah,
worst Captain America movie. I'm not saying it's bad.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's not as good as the others.
It's significantly worse.
Yeah. Than
the Winter Soldier and Civil War.
Mm. Yeah, it's still good though.
Yeah.
It's
you know what? Over time, Winter Soldier's becoming my favorite Captain America movie. Because I always said Civil War was like just the tiniest bit above it, just because that big fight with all the different heroes in it. But then I'm like, it's almost such an Avengers movie. And Winter Soldier is just such a Cap movie. And I love good action films. There's not enough good action films these days. But I look at, like, if I'm going to see the last decade, like the best action movies I can think of, the pure action movies with good plot twists, good characters, good storyline, well paced, and believable and exciting. Pure action.
Yeah.
Winter Soldiers, the number one best action movie with the best plot. Number 2, Mission Impossible, Fallout, the last movie, 6. That was my favorite movie last year. I like that better than Infinity War. Mission Impossible Fallout.
Really?
Yeah, 100%. That was
Jesus
so
Christ.
good. So good. Good.
I've never seen a Mission Impossible
I
movie.
remember I brought it up, but I didn't want to get made fun of on Kill Comic Club when we were talking about, like... But I also knew you were going to pick Infinity War, George was going to pick Infinity War, and it was going to be Infinity War. Because that was my second. But, like, my favourite movie last year wasn't Infinity War, it was Mission Impossible 6.
That's so strange.
It was so good.
Okay.
And after I watched it, I'm like, I'm a Scientologist. I've decided Tom Cruise can't make bad movies, and I'm a Scientologist. He's the best, and I think Katie Holmes is to blame. That's what I think.
Okay, what was that?
Just Elvis shit. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Same thing I knocked over before at
Jesus
the start of the
Christ.
recording. But yeah, Avengers. We haven't talked a lot about that movie.
Oh god, we talked about so many other things. I think that one of the
What's
things...
your favourite moment in the movie?
Oh, my favourite moment in the movie? There might be...
One. You get one.
Fuck. There's 2 though.
Okay, give me 2.
Okay,
I'll let you have
right.
2.
One...
Rules
okay,
have changed. I'll let you have 2.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. Okay, so they're for 2 different reasons, right? So one is just as a movie on its own. My favourite moment from the movie, I think, is the from the moment where Banner is like, "Oh, it's my secret. I'm always angry," and then he punches the thing, turns into Hulk, and it plays the Avengers movie. Then you get the Avengers Assemble scene where you got that.
Fair.
Good.
Good
But
scene.
the other one,
Great
I
scene.
think, in hindsight, after Endgame, a scene that I always loved, but a scene that I like more now.
Oh, I know what you're gonna say.
is
Yes,
this-
it
do you
is.
know what I'm gonna say?
Yeah, I think I know what you're gonna say.
Okay, well, it's the scene between Tony and Steve.
Yeah,
in
it's
the-
exactly what I thought you were gonna say.
in the lab.
Hang on, and is it? Yeah, you're a laboratory experiment, Rogers.
Yeah.
Everything special about you came out of a bottle.
Yeah.
And then he goes, "You're not the one to make a sacrifice play to lay down and wire and let the other guy walk
Yeah,
over."
yeah,
I
yeah.
fucking told you. I
Yeah.
know exactly what it was.
Yeah,
That's
because
exactly
it's so good.
the
It's
best scene.
watching that now, like watching it after Endgame, it almost makes me tear up because I'm like, oh,
They were both
seeing these
so
2
wrong.
people, you know, so aggressive towards each other, but they're both wrong about each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. More so.
But they also both knew they were wrong about each other in the end. Like that was the best
Yeah.
part. Like they were both wrong about each other, and both were such good friends. You know.
Yeah. And it's because it's
They were more like when I think about it, you know, they were never best friends, but they were more like brothers in the way, right? Brothers of responsibility. They were both like the responsible ones of the Avengers. Brothers of the responsibility of being heroes. Brothers in
Yeah.
the sense of the way they treated each other, the way they bickered, and the way they fought. Like it was like very deep and personal family thing. And the Avengers were always, you know, tight knit group. Whereas, like, you know, with everyone else, Rhodey's his best friend, and he looks after them.
Yeah.
Whereas Cap's the only person in Tony's life where he doesn't look after Cap. It's literally the only character that Tony doesn't feel like he has to look after him.
Yeah.
Cap is the only character Tony sees on a level playing field, which is always why I love their relationship and dynamic, is because there was never, I'm above you, he's above me. It was the only one like, who's Tony ever said, other than Captain America, when you look at Age of Ultron, he goes, he's like, oh, what do you, I gotta show you something, boss. He's like, oh, no, he's the boss. I just, build everything, pay for everything, make everyone look cool. And he's, saying Cap's the boss. When would Tony Stark say that about anyone ever? They're in charge, not me.
Yeah, that's true.
Willingly.
Yeah.
The amount of respect Tony has for Steve Rogers is beyond anyone else.
Yeah,
And Cap, obviously, the same as Captain America. Like, he, respected the hell out of Tony. And loved Tony. But, yeah, that's why that scene's so impactful, how wrong they were. Were you going to say someone was more wrong than the other?
I think it was... because I think Cap... being Cap... I think he was more annoyed at what Tony was saying and the way Tony was acting, and he was trying to get at him when he was saying what he was saying. Because I don't think he thought... Maybe he did think it, but...
I think he thought he was selfish, and I think I think he saw the potential in him to not be selfish. But I think he did think... Because at that time, Tony wouldn't have done what he did in Endgame. Tony wouldn't have done what he did in Endgame.
No.
at the time, it was after what happened in New York. Like, obviously, he was willing to do what he did in New York because he saw what was at stake afterwards. But in that moment,
and
he wasn't there yet.
And
that was a part of
didn't-
that movie's development.
And
the
he
Avengers.
also, Tony didn't think when he was taking that missile through the portal, I'm definitely going to die. He was like, there's a chance I won't die.
Yeah,
Which
right.
is something that Cap brought up, is that Tony won't just sacrifice himself. If there's a way out, he'll find a way out, which is why he made Ultron, which is why he tried to give it responsibility of the Avengers by creating the Accords in Civil War.
Yeah, interesting.
Because
Character
he
faults.
always
Character
tries to find ways around things, and that's why, you know, when you
Right.
finally get to Endgame, he finally just sacrificed himself, and he knows, I'm going to die, but I need to do it anyway.
Yeah.
And that's sort of, you know, the culmination of that. But I think that Tony saying...
Spoilers right now. The biggest movie of all time that you've definitely not seen.
Yeah.
I hope Toby doesn't watch this because he's only just started the MCU and he's like, oh, watch the Avengers.
Oh, God. I might have to put a spoiler warning for Endgame at the beginning or something.
Just put full MCU spoilers in the title.
Yeah. Okay. But I think that Tony saying to Steve, like, everything special about you came out of a bottle, I think that, to me, is more impactful. It might be because I like Cap more.
And you were such a big Iron Man fan.
I was.
You were such a big Iron Man fan
I was.
until... What was it? Your rewatch before Endgame or your rewatch before Infinity War that you go to me, nah, I get why Cap's the
Yeah,
best.
because I think it was rewatching... Because when you watch them all through the first time, I mean, I was with Iron Man because I'd seen Iron Man before. I was like,
right.
yeah, I love Captain America, but Iron Man's my guy. And I even sided with Iron Man in Civil War. I'm like...
I hated you for that.
Okay,
I remember that. And I was like,
I was completely wrong.
You
Because
were.
also, it's the movie's Captain America Civil War. He's the protagonist.
Yeah,
He's right.
he
That's
is.
the point.
Yeah.
The amount of fucking debates I've had on Discord with people that are like, no, I think Iron Man was right. And I'm like trying to convince them. I'm like, no, the point, it's written so that Cap's right. That's the point.
Yeah.
And if Iron Man's right, it ruins his arc. Because he has to be wrong. That's the point of the fucking story.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it ruins everything.
And also, it's just funny that I've been getting my parents to watch the MCU movies this year, and I watched Infinity War with them. It was the last one, it was like before Endgame came out. I was watching some of them, and I got my parents to watch Civil War, and my mum doesn't. She's like, Captain, whatever. She just refuses. She's so stubborn, like me.
Yeah.
Refuses to like Captain America a lot. She's like, he's fine,
Yeah.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then Civil War happens, and she loves Tony. She's like, I only like Iron Man. I love
Yeah.
Robert because she loves Robert Downey Jr.
I love Robert Downey Jr.
But she's been a fan of his like before at Marvel or anything like that, like in all his older movies.
Yeah.
She always like loved Robert Downey Jr.
Uh-huh. And
And then we watched Civil War. She's like, she's like, I can't watch this anymore. I fucking hate him. He's a cunt.
That's
She's
great.
like, I hate Iron Man. I'm like, see, Team
least she
Cap.
gets it.
I'm like, see, Team Cap. She's like, no, not Team Cap. Just fuck Iron Man. He's like, because when he was saying like we need the Accords, blah blah blah, and Cap's like arguing with him, like, you know, that scene where Tony gives him Cap the pen and everything like that, and it's that moment you think Cap's almost going to sign, and Tony says all these things. My mum is like, what a fucking dickhead. Like, she just got so mad, and I'm like, it's true. Like, even someone that loves Iron Man, he's wrong. He's so wrong.
He's wrong,
and he's
yeah.
supposed to be wrong. Like there's elements of like sense to what the point of it's supposed to be conflicting for the audience, because there's elements of sense to what he's saying, but ultimately when you really look deep into it, what's good, it's Cap.
Yeah.
But you know, Cap steps on a lot of toes to do it. But yeah, I remember you saying your team Iron Man. I was like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Look, I was wrong, but
You were.
yeah, Cap is the best character in the
Facts.
MCU, and I think that's why that moment's so impactful, because when you know, he wields Mjolnir and
Everything special about you came out of a
everything,
bottle.
and it's like,
And it's like,
that's
you don't
it,
even get
that's
why
it.
he got the bottle, mate. You don't. But even then, like, you don't get why he got the bottle,
Yeah.
Tony. He didn't get the bottle to be special. He was special, and he got the bottle.
Yeah.
That's why, man.
Yeah.
That's why.
It's so great.
Go fuck yourself.
Oh, it's so great. The MCU is so fucking good.
Yeah, I'd say that's the most important scene in the movie. I'd agree that's the most important scene in the movie.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think of what my favorite scene in the movie is, though.
I feel like there's another one that I noticed. Oh, I'd say a really good scene, okay, that I really like is when, you know, when Loki first attacks, is he in Germany?
Yeah, in the museum in Germany.
Yeah, and he's about to kill that old guy, and then Cap jumps
comes
down
in,
and
yeah,
stops him, and
fuck
he's
yeah, I
like,
love
last
that.
time I was in Germany and saw someone standing above everybody else we ended up disagreeing.
We ended up disagreeing. I was like, cool, fuck yeah.
That's great. I like that.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. The soldier, a man out of time. That's my Loki impression.
It's really good.
Thanks, man.
I almost thought Tom Hiddleston was in the room.
Yeah, well,
it scared me.
I would too. Well, he's got the space stone, so he could be. We're fucking nerds. The Avengers, we didn't really go all out from start to finish talking about it like we usually would.
Yeah. I mean, it's an old movie. I think people would prefer to hear us talk about bits and pieces.
The movie and its impact on the MCU.
Yeah.
True.
I think that's more interesting than analysing it as if it came out yesterday sort of thing.
Yeah, I agree. But that's what most of these MCU movies are anyway. Yeah. And there's not much to talk about the plot. Like, Loki gets the Tesseract and tries to unleash an army on New York. Avengers come together. Do want to talk about this because it's important.
Okay.
Before we kind of wrap the podcast is Coulson. I feel like we have to talk about Coulson.
My favourite character.
He is your favourite character.
Yeah. Okay, he's not, but he's up there.
I feel like we have to talk about Coulson because he's a big part of this movie, and then he dies. It's the last movie he's in. He's no longer in the MCU.
Yep. No, okay, actually.
Here we go. He's baited.
No. What's really upsetting, right, is I started to watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 6.
Yeah.
It's not canon anymore.
Of course it's not. It was never canon.
Okay.
Coulson died. James, where did it go?
Don't do this to me.
Coulson died.
I'm not going to...
In the Avengers.
I'm not going to buy it.
How did he not die in the Avengers?
No, he did die.
Yeah, okay.
But Nick Fury brought him back.
What does that even mean?
Watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's
really
good.
It's not canon. Do you know what else is in canon? Daredevil, Jessica Jones, The Punisher, Iron Fist, and The Defenders. You know that's true. And you know they're going to say... They've said it already, haven't they? They're not canon? And if they haven't yet, you know they're going to.
They haven't, but they...
And you know they're going to say that.
They will.
Yeah.
They will say it. They've cancelled all of them.
They've cancelled them. Because now they're going to make real MCU shows, like The Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, that's the point. They're removing everything from canon that isn't Marvel Studios to clean things up, I think. Yeah. Which I think is a good thing.
I agree.
It's a shame that Agents
Terrible
of S.H.I.E.L.D.
shows.
It's a shame...
Yeah.
It's a shame to me that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. seasons like 1 to 4 maybe aren't canon, because I think that they're so small scale and it does a lot of good. Like, I really love the storylines that are set during Winter Soldier, for example, where you see Hydra and the fall of S.H.I.E.L.D., but you see it from inside S.H.I.E.L.D. I think that's really good. And Nick Fury even shows up in an episode, and it's fucking awesome. And it's really well written stuff, and it's great. And it's a shame that now it's not canon, because they were just like, we can't be fucked to deal with the snap, so we're just going to pretend it didn't happen. Which I guess means that all of it was never canon. It's like a different universe or whatever, which means it's a shame. It's a shame. But overall, I guess for the best, I think. It gives them more room to do what they want with the...
And I always didn't understand why Daredevil, all those shows were in the MCU, because they're so weird. They were just so weird to be in the MCU. Because the MCU would never acknowledge them. And they were never going to acknowledge him. They weren't going to show up in the Avengers.
They always acknowledged it backwards. So, like, the shows...
But of course, because one's the real thing and the others aren't.
Oh, okay.
They want to be. It's like being at the same school. It's like being at school and you've got the popular kids. You know what I mean? And you've got the losers. Because some people... losers. No, I'm just...
Oh, God.
I'm going so deep with this analogy, and especially when I'm such a fucking nerd.
I know where you're going with this.
But what I'm saying is, the cool kids don't know you're there.
Yeah.
No idea. What's your name? Dunno.
Yeah.
Daredevil's like, oh, I want to sit at the popular table.
Yeah.
You can't, mate. You're fat.
But, you're fat. Captain America turns around, he's like, Daredevil, you're fat. Get out of here. That was Marvel when they cancelled Daredevil. Oh, God.
I'm joking, I'm not this much of an arsehole. I'm just kidding.
But they're still in the same school,
I'm just trying
though.
to trigger people.
Even if Captain America doesn't know he's in the same school as Daredevil, they're still in the same school. So...
Not anymore.
Why?
Because you don't understand how the world works. Popular people, what they experience is what's real. That's the real world.
Oh, so fucking stupid.
Perception is reality,
Yeah.
and their perception is, don't know who you are, not real.
Okay.
That's their reality. And that's my reality.
Well, okay. Well, Netflix shows aren't canon anymore. I don't think. Inhumans was also probably never canon.
So Coulson died. That was a great moment. That's one of my favourite moments of the whole movie. He's like, we made this from the machine you brought down. I don't know what it does yet. And then, like, all this sort of shit. And then he's like, you'll fail, you lack conviction, all that stuff when Loki
And then he shoots him, yeah.
And then, yeah.
And that's cool.
And then he shot him. He goes, that's what it does.
Yeah.
And then he's like dying. I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah, that's a nice moment. I do like that Coulson's sort of the catalyst.
And that brings, because Cap and Tony were together at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just that moment that brought them together as well. Like when they heard over the comms that Coulson died, it's like, fuck.
It was very Nick Fury as well to, you know, fabricate a little bit of the story. Be like, oh, these cards were in his jacket when he died, but they weren't.
Yeah.
And Maria's like, no, they were in his locker.
Yeah.
Which is very Nick Fury.
And there's a lot of good dialogue scenes in that movie that started a lot of character arcs. And, you know, Steve and Tony started a lot of each other's character arcs, as we talked about with that line before. But there's one where they're in the lab with Banner and Tony pokes him and they're just arguing and he's just like, because of the time Cap's such a patriot and follows orders. But his arc is like going away from that, where his trust isn't in the government and America, it's in people.
Yeah, individuals.
It's in individuals.
It's what he says in Civil War.
Yeah. But at the time he's like, we're here to follow, we've got orders, we should follow them. That's what he says.
Yeah.
And then he's like, don't you think it's suspicious what, you know, S.H.I.E.L.D. are doing? He's like, it's Fury. He's a spy. He's the spy. Like, you know, that line. And then Steve goes and investigates and he finds out the secrets. Like, that's the first moment of like Steve going, you know, thinking critically on, you know, you're probably right. Let's have an investigation first to know. And then he finds out.
Yeah.
I like, there's so many just seeds planted in that movie that led us to what eventually was the endgame moments. Yeah, no, the movie worked. It had a great villain with fun action scenes with a whole bunch of amazing heroes and bringing them together the first time. It was a spectacle moment. Like, narrative-wise, plot-wise, what they do in the movie structurally isn't the best Marvel movie, isn't the best team-up movie. You know, Infinity War, Endgame, Civil War, all better movies.
Yeah.
But what it did for the spectacle was so important and so good, and they had picked such a good villain to do it with, and then set up so much for the future. The Avengers nailed it, and as a cinema experience,
it still holds up. It's a very good movie.
Still holds up for sure.
It's very fun to watch. I think if there's anything that doesn't hold up, I think it's maybe the mid-section. They spend a lot of time... cap suit. But also, they spend a lot of time on the helicarrier.
They do.
It does drag a little bit.
Especially the Hulk chasing Natasha scene.
Yeah. All that stuff. You got a lot of Tony spinning the blade and Cap struggling.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that.
Yeah.
But beyond that, it's good. Like, the character and dialogue stuff on the helicarrier is good. Like, when they're in the lab, you got the stuff between Tony and Steve. You've got...
Natasha's good. Black Widow does a good job, like her Loki scene.
Oh,
really good.
Where she tricks Loki.
Yeah.
That's a really good scene, yeah, that's really good. And then you've got, obviously, when Nick Fury gives, like, the speech, like, that there was an idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good as well. But yeah, overall, really good movie.
Yeah, I agree.
Sets up things for the future. I love the ending, where you've got, like, it's a conversation between Nick Fury and the other people in S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
And he's talking about the Avengers and how the world's protected, and he trusts them, and they're all going their separate ways. That's nice.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah. It's got a really nice soundtrack too.
It does. Which
is good.
And it sets up the next phase really well. With
Yeah.
Iron Man 3, Winter Soldier. Fuck.
Thor and the Dark Thor.
And the Dark Thor. It was the Dark Thor.
That would have been a better movie. Thor and the Dark Thor, an evil Thor. Instead of Jane Foster finding a anti-gravity thing. That's what happens, right? There's like a truck floating in a warehouse.
Something like that. And the kids are like throwing shit in it or something like that.
Yeah, there's like a portal and it keeps teleporting into like some dimension or something.
Yeah.
Which is where the ether is, the
and then it
Reality
falls
Stone.
back down or something.
Yeah.
Anyway.
What a weird movie. Let's not talk about Thor.
Yeah, let's
Dark
wrap
World.
this motherfucker up, James.
Alright. Yeah, let's do it. Alright, hope you enjoyed this Cinema Room on the Avengers Assemble. We'll see you next time for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which will be in 2 weeks' time if you're listening on Patreon.
And then Mindhunter Season 2.
And then Mindhunter Season 2 in 4 weeks' time. And we'll see you... so if you're listening on Patreon, we'll see you in 2 weeks' time for the next episode of Cinema Room. If you're listening on YouTube, we'll see you in a week's time on Patreon if you want to get it in a week.
Because you're going to join for $1 a month.
Because you are going to join, exactly. And if you... let me just thank the producers first. We've got... Sorry about that. We've got King Richard III, Smexy Dork, Kassassin, Elsker91, and Seth, our Patreon producers. Thank you all so much for continuing support here on patreon.com/as always. We appreciate it a lot. If you want to join them for just $1 a month or more, depending on what you would like to get as a reward, there's plenty of stuff. Come over and check it out. We've got 67 episodes of the Clubhouse podcast, which is the best podcast that we've ever created. Best podcast on the internet, I would say. And you can get exclusive access to that, as well as early access to this podcast, the Cinema Room podcast. So if you're listening on YouTube and you want to get it a week early, you can do for just $1 a month over at patreon.com/as always. And to thank everyone here supporting us on patreon.com/as always that's pledging $5 or more, we have got King Richard III, Smexy Dork, Kassassin, Elster91, Seth, Ballsack47, Damian, Bill of the Team Tynamite, Captain Robertson, Tman or Travis, Baby Boy, KEMOSABE Gamer, Casey Wood, Pink Flame 313, Adam Sundling, Alfie Rowsell, Jamie Brown, Jesper Olsen, Lumistrad, Mary5380 is gay, Fat Fuck Cuck, Brendon Overlord, RAVJAI, Julli, Craig, Oscar, Benedict Parker returns, James and Lad, Connor Durose Bully in the alley, Zahir the FAT Gamer, Max H, Gene, Zeek Collins, Son of a Bitch Ogeaidogo, George, Dammit Glenn, Furious Coco, the ACMJS, Kyle, S. Jaws, Marcus Blackburn, Emil Katborg, Joshua Mora, Ginko Swag, Master the Bass, Yazen, Joe the Sexy Boi Smith, H+12, I got Lumbago, Ironman's for the Dads, Durose, Alfie Rodbert, Brian Ford, Casper, Milk Boy, Fishy, and Andreu Martinez. Thank you all so much for continuing to support. You're all bloody epic, and we'll see you 2 weeks' time on Patreon if you're listening on Patreon for the next episode of Cinema Room. And we'll see you in a week's time on Patreon for the Cinema Room. Or if you just want to continue listening publicly, which you shouldn't, but if you do, 2 weeks' time for another Cinema Room. And we'll see you, for more podcasts, other stuff. Alright, see you next time, boys.
Bye, guys.
See ya.